Hey, hello. All right, great. So this is Terrence Lamont with We Are Valuable Media, of course. This is We Are Valuable Media presents, and we're going to be talking about love. So there's a lot of different ways to look at this. I want you to know, first of all, the focus of We Are Valuable Media is today and always to bring educational and enlightening news and information with a spirit of unification and truth across many platforms and with many voices being involved. And so we have had what you could call a home base on Facebook. So that's been where you could see most of what we've been doing, right? We're going to continue to work toward building up our audience on YouTube. So that's where you come in. So if you're watching this right now, what we need you to do is to subscribe. If you like what you're hearing, if you liked anything from Terry or Cameron, and we have some other people upcoming, and myself, of course, we're going to be doing some new things. We'll have somebody on Facebook actually coming up on Sunday. He's going to be a special guest. And so as we move forward with doing different work with the videos and also with the podcast that I'm going to be doing and anything that Terry is doing in Chicago. She does workshops and different things like that, lectures, one-on-one coaching. Yeah, so that's going to be something that you can plug into as well. So I'll show you how to do that in time. That will come up. She'll be telling you about the things that she has going on. And so you can be able to tap into her experiences, especially if you're in Chicago, and my experiences if you're in St. Louis. And so Cameron's in Tulsa, and we'll get him on some more too. Mostly it's going to be myself and Terry, though. And then we'll have special guests. So this is going really wonderful, and I'm glad that you're along for the ride. Thank you for coming. So again, this is Terrence Lamont. This is We Are Valuable Media. And so what I have here, I drew a little, a kind of just a printed description of what I'm going to be talking about. So I'm doing something different. Instead of using words, I use an image. So working with love, right? Okay, so what is love? How do you define love? What does love mean to you is something that I think each one of us need to understand. We need to experience it with some point of awareness, right? So if you have a focus in your life, there's something that you're doing, something that you're creating that you consider important to you. It's something that has an overarching specific need, something that is like really strong or attractive, so that it's at a point in your life where you almost feel like you can't live without it. It's magnetic. There's a connecting link. There's some strength to it in a way that you really, maybe you feel like you can't live without it. That's something sometimes that we call love, right? Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a concept, maybe it's a situation, and you say, I love that, all right, or I love him, or I love her. So we talk like that. What I'm challenging you to do now is to think about the truth behind that. Think about the reality behind that. Think about what it cannot be denied in that case, right? So what is love really? I mean, what is it to you? Is it an emotion? Is it a feeling? And this is a question that I want you to answer. You know, if you're watching this, I'm wanting to see how many people are able to articulate their experiences of love, because there's Akashic record readings that I received that told me that love was really the energy and the connecting link that continues life, that allows life to be what it is. It's a seed so to speak, that has been planted that grows and moves through every aspect of life and connects it and keeps things whole. So that there's always this kind of balance and security that is constant, right? So you want to have what you want to have. You have desires. We all have these really strong desires. And so the movement of your own consciousness that you use to be an attractor field, the thing that you use like a tractor beam, like in in sci-fi they call this thing a tractor beam. So they shoot out this light and it connects to another ship or something like that, and it draws it in, it pulls it. So they call that a tractor beam. So the attractor beam, like what's the attractor beam that you have that you connected to something? So your attractor beam is connected to something. So let's just call it abundance. Let's just say that this is the abundance moving into your experience and you latched onto it. You got your tractor beam set up. And so there's a power, right, that is causing the tractor beam to maintain its connection. And so that's universal law. Universal law is always operating. There's 13 universal laws. They're always in operation. They always exist. And we can talk about those at a different time. But they have a link to them, and you are linked to them, and they are linked together, and they're always, always, always working. And so if you work with universal laws, then that means that you're using your awareness to be connected to all of the universe, to all that is. You're maintaining balance, you're maintaining connection, you're maintaining awareness. So that is what I'm saying is the space where you want to experience what I'm talking about as love. Like I said, of the Akashic record readings that I received that told me that love was the connecting link. So the universal laws are something you could look at them like they're just a line, right? They're always moving. And so you can use that line and hook it up to what you want, and then you pull it. So we're going to call your thing abundance. So that's abundance that you're pulling with you all the time if you choose to work with universal law. So then when you do it with love, then your experience of love, your emotional experience, your connectivity, the angle that you take, that you say, this is something that I must have. I must always be with this. So you're always with universal law. You're always connected with universal law. So that means there's never a time when you're not aware and in love with universal law. So this is the energy of connection, right? So that is how you're going to get through your wall of issues. I always hear people, recently I've connected with a lot of people, spiritual type people, or people who do things like they follow the law of attraction, or they meditate, or they do yoga. And they're also empaths, they're intuitives, they're people who receive energy, it seems to them, very easily. And sometimes I think it makes them uncomfortable, and they don't know how to change it. So that's an issue. That's something that they have to move through. So what I'm suggesting is that on the other side of this issue is there's you moving forward. So the three workhorses that are going to keep you moving forward are forgiveness, surrender, and constancy. These are things that are going to cause you to keep moving. So you don't have to love forgiveness. You don't have to love the experience of letting things fall off of you and not be a pressure point that you hold against something or somebody else. So you have some kind of issue, you have some kind of difficulty, something that has made you angry, something that has put you in a position to not be comfortable, right? So when you're in that position, then I'm calling that an issue. And we all have those. We all have issues. We all have difficulties. We all have complications. Uh, that's the lesson of life, is that you're always going to have things that you're trying to understand, that you're working through. This is normal. So you're going to move forward by instituting in your mind that I can release. I don't have to hold these things against anybody. I don't have to hold these feelings that I have, this difficulty, this anger, this misunderstanding, uh, this feeling of being wronged, feeling of being judged, mistreated, left behind, disrespected. If you hold these things, you're holding it within you. And so forgiveness means that you are letting these things be in the past. You are not experiencing them as they are the present. And instead, you are looking at them and learning from them. You're learning from this experience. You're building from this experience. You're gaining from this experience. You're becoming more of a person who is willing and able to learn from your difficulties, to learn from your experiences of grief, of shame, of despair. So that's the essence of forgiveness, because, like I'm saying, we go through these all the time. You're going to have these experiences no matter what. So you must learn how to forgive. And through forgiveness, you learn the importance and the power of surrender. So you have the forgiveness on the top, and then within and underneath that, you become aware of surrender, which means that your release is now opening you up to receive the greater truth from the universe, from God, from the Creator, from your high self. So there's steps that you can take. You can even say you receive it from Jesus, you receive it from Buddha, you receive it from the gods, the angels, those enlightened masters, Baba G. There's a space between you, space between me and God, that is occupied by these masters. And so that's why they are the teachers. That's why they are the ones who are credited with starting religions. Even some of these things you can look at them in a lot of different ways. It could be aliens. But the need is for you to be aware of what it is that you're receiving from and how to interpret it, right? So the surrender, the forgiveness is basically coming into play when you let go, when you stop fighting, right? And then that's when you understand the essence of surrender, because there's surrender and you just say, I quit, and you just, you forgive in a way that you just quit and you just give up, and then you get run over, right? But the forgiveness has to come first, where you're building this essence in your body and your mind and your soul of how am I going to learn from this experience? How am I going to build myself up? Because I'm in a school. That's what this is. This experience is an experience of learning and growing and understanding how to be more like the Creator, how to be more like God. So these lessons come through. Sometimes they're delivered by these masters. Sometimes you just receive it directly into yourself. And sometimes people get caught up in their ego and they start thinking that they're the master. And that is not accurate, because you would not be here if you were the master. And if you are the master, then you probably wouldn't even know. You certainly wouldn't refer to yourself as a guru, a master, or think of that nature. You wouldn't even think in those realms. The true essence of who you are is always connected, and people misinterpret that connection, right? So what I'm saying is that we can, as a society, as a human race, build, learn, grow, achieve more by understanding these three workhorses: forgiveness, surrender, and now constancy. So you don't do surrender once, you don't do forgiveness once. You are constantly in a state of forgiveness, constantly in a state of surrender, constantly releasing. So that way you are able to see the greater truth and the greater experience in all. Of course, if you have an experience of connection with another human or an animal or nature, then you think that, oh, this is great, this is wonderful, this is the way life is supposed to be, because there's no issues here, there's no tension, there's no problems, everything's fine. I'm just having a happy-go-lucky time, and nobody's going to ever be able to sour this day for me. I'm going to always look on this experience, and it's going to be the greatest experience I've ever had, and I'll always remember it. And I'll tell the story. I'll tell the story to my grandkids because it's so wonderful, right? So when you're in that state, you think, oh, that's the way life is supposed to be. Life is a continuous stretch of experience. Death is encapsulated within life, and rebirth, and the spiral continues. So as you ride that wave, that spiral, as you continue that experience, then you are putting yourself in position to, when you become aware that this is what's going on, you're putting yourself in position to continue to move forward. So your issues that you're moving through, you move through them, and on the other side, you realize that here is a brand new person. Now, I am able to use this experience in a different way, right? So you remove a cap, you remove a fear, you remove something that you were using to hide behind, and now you can move forward. So that's what we got for today. You do this with love. What is love? You tell me, what is love for you and your experience? How do you experience love? What's the greatest experience of love that you've ever had? How did it change your life? How is love changing your life right now? Who do you love? What do you love? Is that enough questions? I think so. All right. Hey, Terrence Lamont, We Are Valuable Media. So much more coming up. Wanted to make sure I came on here today and spoke with you guys. I appreciate every one of you. Again, if you like anything that you've received from We Are Valuable Media, subscribe, click the bell. That way you get an alert that tells you through your email when we're going live or when we have new content. We want you to be a participant with what we're creating. So that's your part. Like, subscribe, comment, let us know. All right, guys, thanks. Oh, remember, I want you to exist more than I want